The north wind and the sun were dis sorry. The north wind and the sun were disputing what? Which was the stronger? Which was the stronger? When a traveler came along wrapped in a warm cloak. Clock. Clock. They agreed that the one who first succeeded in making the traveler take off his cloak. I don't know how to pronounce that, man. Should be considered stronger than the other. Then the north winds blew as hard as he could, but the more he blew, the more closely did the traveler fold his cloak around him. And at last, the north wind gave up the attempt. Then the sun shined out warmly, and immediately the traveler took off his cloak. And so the north wind was obliged to confess that the sun was the stronger of the two. Title: 8 public buses with protective screens to shield drivers begin 6-month trial. 8 public buses fitted with impact-resistant screens to protect bus drivers started plying the routes on Saturday, Jan 13, with 8 more to be deployed by February. The protective screens are part of a 6-month trial by the Land Transport Authority (LTA) to better shield bus drivers from potential hijacks or assaults, said National Transport Workers Union (NTWU) Executive Secretary Melvin Yong. On Friday night, Mr. Yong posted several photos on Facebook of his visit to the Woodlands bus depot, where he climbed aboard one of the buses. He wrote that the measures came in light of a heightened security threat here. The 4 public bus operators Go Ahead Singapore, SBS Transit, SMRT Buses, and Tower Transit are involved in the pilot trial, he added. LTA told the Straits Times that the trial will allow it to test the effectiveness of the screens and assess if they will affect the bus captain's ability to carry out their duties. Mr. Yong, who is also a Member of Parliament of Tanjong Pagar GRC, suggested installing protective screens on public buses in Parliament in November last year (2017). In response, Senior Minister of State for Transport Lian Ping Ming said that LTA will be conducting a trial in early 2018 to test the effectiveness and feasibility of the protective screens. Dr. Lam said the trial will also allow LTA to gather feedback from commuters and other route users, as similar implementation elsewhere has attracted complaints like the blinding glare of the screens. In his Facebook post, Mr. Yong encouraged bus drivers and commuters to give their feedback and suggestions during the trial period. Recycling initiatives to turn electronic trash into cash for Straits Times School Pocket Money Fund. 8 public buses fitted with impact-resistant screens to protect bus drivers started plying the routes on Saturday, Jan 13, with 8 more to be deployed by February. The protective screens are part of a 6-month trial by the Land Transport Authority (LTA) to better shield bus drivers from potential hijacks or assaults, said National Transport Workers Union (NTWU) Executive Secretary Melvin Yong. On Friday night, Mr. Yong posted several photos on Facebook of his visit to the Woodlands bus depot, where he climbed aboard one of the buses. He wrote that the measures came in light of a heightened security threat here. The 4 public bus operators Go Ahead Singapore, SBS Transit, SMRT Buses, and Tower Transit are involved in the pilot trial, he added. LTA told the Straits Times that the trial will allow it to test the effectiveness of the screens and assess if they will affect the bus captain's ability to carry out their duties. Mr. Yong, who is also a Member of Parliament for Tanjong Pagar GRC, suggested installing protective screens on public buses in Parliament in November last year. In response, Senior Minister of State for the Transport Lian Ping Ming said that LTA will be conducting a trial in early 2018 to test the effectiveness and feasibility of the protective screens. Dr. Lam said the trial will also allow LTA to gather feedback from commuters and other route users, as similar implementations elsewhere have attracted complaints like the blinding glare of the screens. In his Facebook post, Mr. Yong encouraged bus drivers and commuters to give their feedback and suggestions during the trial period. A recycling initiative is hoping to turn trash into cash for charity by donating funds raised from recycling electronic waste to help needy students. The HP Make IT Green campaign, which will run until the end of this year, aims to collect 10,000 used personal computers, laptops, and display monitors, or about 50,000 kg of e-waste over the next 12 months. It is part of Clean Up Southwest, the Southwest District annual trash for groceries recycling drive. Besides going into schools to collect e-waste, the initiative encouraged residents in the district to drop off their e-waste at various recycling points. All funds from the refurbished devices will be donated to the Straits Times School Pocket Money Fund. Mayor of Southwest District, Miss Low Yen Ling, who was at the Clean Up Southwest recycling drive on Sunday, Jan 14, said the amount of e-waste have increased with the growing use of electronic devices. If not properly disposed, electronic items can pollute our environment and harm our health, she added. That's why we are enhancing our efforts in public education and awareness, and ramping up our drive to recycle e-waste. He said that not only will recycling make Singapore clean and green, it will bring cheer to those in need. The campaign was launched by Southwest Community Development Council (CDC) and the National Environment Agency Southwest Regional Office and HP Singapore. Mr. Leonard Cheng, Managing Director of HP Singapore, said the launch of one of Singapore's largest e-waste recycling efforts is our commitment to building community awareness and creating a circular economy that supports a good cause. On Sunday, residents took their recyclables such as clothes and newspapers to 41 recycling points across the district in exchange for groceries through the Clean Up Southwest Recycling Drive, which is in its 30th year. The collection points included community centers and residents' community centers. Some 200 volunteers were stationed at selected points to guide residents on recycling the correct way, such as separating their recyclables by material, plastic, paper, or glass. The drive is organized by Southwest CDC and the NEA Southwest Regional Office and supported by grassroots organizations in the district. Among those who took their recyclables to a collection point was Mr. Kenny Ling, 59. He and his wife Lu Ming Chi, 53, recycled their clothes and newspapers and a used laptop. Mr. Lim, an operations manager, said, "We wanted to do our part to recycle things that we do not need. We can also use this chance to help those who are in need." New road safety measures for elderly residents been explored. The authorities are exploring new ways to make roads into neighborhoods safer for the elderly. These measures include converting sections of roads into community spaces and converting two-way roads into one-way ones. The Land Transport Authority (LTA) shared this with the Straits Times recently, after it called a tender earlier this month to set up 10 more silver zones around Singapore by the end of 2019. The Silver Zone scheme, which started in 2014 and has been implemented in 50 locations, aims to enhance road safety for the elderly. This is achieved through various safety measures, such as reduced 40 km/h speed limit, two-stage crossings so pedestrians can take refuge at the center divider, and narrowing routes at crossings to get cars to slow down. The 10 locations which the LTA has identified in the recent tender include Whampoa Drive, Upper Boon Road, Chai Chee Road, and Teck Whye Lane. As part of the project, the LTA said it will be also exploring new road safety engineering features, which include community spaces where a section of the road is converted into an area with more walking and sitting space for pedestrians. Late last year, the LTA converted a 200-meter stretch of Commonwealth Drive from a two-way route into a one-way one. Not a good plan. This is the first time that LTA has done so under the Silver Zone initiative. With the conversion, the lane in the direction of Queensway has been cordoned off, while the lane heading towards Commonwealth Avenue is kept open. The Straits Times understands that in time, the unused roads will be converted to additional space for pedestrians. This arrangement helps to calm and regulate turning traffic and at the same time reduce conflict points between vehicles and pedestrians, said the LTA. Residents such as housewife Doris Yap, 42, gave the thumbs up to the change. She said, "It's more convenient to cross the road now as we do not have to look out for oncoming traffic in both directions." Madam Badia Kamin, 65, a retiree, said, "The roads here are not very busy, but the change does add to the safety as there are many elderly residents living in the area." Ms. Ye Fang, 46, who works in the service industry, also said sometimes the car do not come to a stop at the zebra crossings, so having one direction of traffic is good. But Ms. Ye pointed out that it's harder to get a taxi in Commonwealth Drive now because taxis coming into estates from Commonwealth will bypass the converted stretch of Commonwealth Drive and instead go by Commonwealth Crescents to go to Queensway. There are currently no plans to convert more two-way routes into one-way ones under the Silver Zone scheme. The LTA said every Silver Zone is unique as the safety features are customized to the streetscape of each estate. These features remind motorists to slow down and look out for pedestrians, as well as urge senior pedestrians to exercise greater care when crossing the road. The goal is to provide 50 locations with silver zones around the island by 2023. Is it 10 minutes?